Xiong Zhang, and I'm one of the international partnership managers at Sunrise, and I'm also one of the authors of this white paper. So I will be covering the second half of this webinar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Katie and Jianxiong Shan. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. I'm Chloe Liu, the CEO of Sunrise China office. So I'm just like a guest started to the webinar. So in today's webinar, we will unpack some key insights from the white paper. And Jianxiong and I will focus on China's digital landscape and practical strategies for engaging Chinese students and families. So this webinar will run about 35 minutes. Feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go. We will save time for the Q&A at the end. Okay, let's get it started. So first part, I will talk about the introduction and importance. China isn't just a big market, it's a totally different digital universe. First, let's talk about the scale and uniqueness. China has over 1 billion internet users, and almost everyone gets online on their phones. So this is a phone market and through and through. We also found that 22% of Chinese students and their families now trust online sources more than before the pandemic. Families got used to digital, and now that is a go-to option. Then there is a great firewall. It doesn't just block global social media and search engine. It also created a unique ecosystem dominated by local apps. If your recruitment strategy relies on global platforms, 1 billion people may never know you exist. Since digital channels are way more important now, localization goes beyond just translating your website or materials into Chinese. That's just the first step. So about localization, so true localization means overcoming three key barriers. First, technical and regulatory barriers. One of the most important things is the ICP, or Internet Content Provider License, which is a certification that allows your site to be approved for use in China and to run campaigns. It requires a Chinese business license. So if you don't get an ICP, your website will load slowly or not at all. Even Hong Kong CNDs only boost it, but not SEO visibility. So I put some case studies here on how universities are marketing in China. Brandeis University and George Washington University, after they got their ICPs and built an accessible, updated, bilingual local website, we helped them to highlight popular majors and programs to improve Baidu search results, and that helped them rank higher for Chinese students. So second, cultural and linguistic details. It's not just about words, it's about building a story that connects with them. Like, for example, Chinese families care deeply about long-term returns on their investment. So make your content speak to them, not just list your rankings. Third, master the local platforms. Douyin's algorithm works differently from YouTube, and Reddit users are expected totally different content than Instagram. If you just post the same video on every platform, that's not localization. Localization is about fitting into the local ecosystem, not making them fit into yours. So second part, I will talk about the digital landscape. Let's take a quick look at the platform first, then we will dive it into individually. WeChat. Many of you have heard about WeChat. It's an all-in-one app for messaging, payments, and news. We use it almost every day in China. Douyin is Chinese version of TikTok. Bilibili, students call it China's online university, is for students with an academic focus. Renault is a lifestyle and travel app, now widely used for sharing educational experiences. Here is a 50-second video of students talking about Chinese app.
I mostly use WeChat and TikTok.
I usually use Rednotes and also WeChat,
Yeah.
and also Instagram.
抖音还有小红书，
是我微博、抖音、小红书。
抖音, Chinese version of TikTok, and I also use Bilibili a lot. And I think there's an increasing amount of students, young people, turning to Bilibili. Those platforms is more suitable for young people, the young generation.
Especially in Rednotes, there are many information about studying abroad and some programs and even some exchange programs.
Used to using Xiaohongshu to information about university.
Yeah, as you can see, the 4 platforms mentioned earlier are the most popular for Chinese students. Okay, so let's dive into Douyin. If you want broad reach, Douyin is the first place. With 766 million active monthly users, it's perfect for building brand appreciation and capturing attention fast. And it works for all cities and ages. I put 3 examples here for your references. Fordham University, Case Western Reserve University, and Stanford University. They customized Douyin campaigns so viewers could click through and provide their information, so it can help them to collect valuable leads. If Douyin builds brands, Rednote builds trust. Rednote is the fastest growing platform in China, especially popular with young users who love real stories. For instance, in a campaign for Pace University, we started with the experience of studying in New York City to grab students' attention first. Then we introduced Pace University later. WPI students shared their majors. Iowa State University hosted a welcome video and exciting campus tour. And starting this year, verified Rednote accounts can send direct contact info to followers, such as phone numbers, emails, WeChat IDs, which makes communication more effective. Also, we've heard from university partnered with Chinese reps who open Rednote accounts. Those reps can directly interact with prospective students and answer questions, even guiding them toward applications. This highlights Rednote as a powerful tool for engaging with prospective students. Bilibili, students call China's online university. This platform is for students focused on academics. They want to dip into program specifics, not just see campus life. So your Bilibili strategy should be in-depth content. As you can see from the cases, we will support several universities in posting lecturing clips with Mandarin subtitles to attract more students. WeChat. WeChat is a go-to platform for parents. It has like a 1.38 billion users, including Chinese and international. It's great for detailed, reliable content and building long-term relationships. You can use official account to weekly updates and one-on-one chats with parents who have questions. I put some case studies here for your references. Those schools did some clever things, like they put long articles on career outcomes and alumni sharing about their jobs and salaries. We help them verify their official account as an overseas university entity and set up a menu for easy access to key information. We also ensure monthly updated with Chinese alumni stories, the latest school news, and events hosted in China, which can keep their community informed and engaged. So we just went over WeChat, Douyin, Renault, Bilibili. To choose the right platforms for your campaigns is based on who you want to reach. First, for the region, such as top-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai, Renault and Bilibili are most popular. For national reach, Douyin and WeChat work everywhere. Then for age group, prospective students prefer Renault, Bilibili, and Douyin. Parents use WeChat. For recruiters, this means targeting Renault, Bilibili, and Douyin to reach prospective students while using WeChat articles to engage parents. Okay, that's wrapped up with a clear plan for 2026. First, use video. Every platform needs vertical short-form videos. Second, use a multi-platform strategy. Like Douyin builds understanding with broad reach. Renault builds trust with real students' experiences. Bilibili highlights academic credibility with deep content. WeChat supports parents and guide applicants. Third, target exactly. Use region and age data to focus your effort. So just think it as a journey. A student finds you on Douyin, checks your Renault for real stories, dives into your Bilibili video to learn about program, and their parents read your WeChat articles to confirm ROI. Your job is to make that journey smooth. So the third part, I will talk about the content itself. What do Chinese students and families really want to see? First, young generations in China don't trust shiny eyes. They trust their peers. Our current students' vlog is more powerful than Dean's recruitment video. Second, rankings matter, but return on investment matters more. Families want to know, will this degree help my children to get a good job? Can they stay and work after graduation? So focus on employment rates, industry partnerships, and visa pathways. Third, your content should let them experience campus life. What's like to attend class, live in dorms, or hang out with friends. So the thing to remember is that down-to-earth videos are best. To get more specific, students and parents are two totally different audiences. For students, stick to Douyin, Renault, and Bilibili. Keep it simple, get them excited, and build trust. For parents, use WeChat and Douyin to make them feel this is a safe investment. If you try to talk to both groups at the same time, your message will lose focus. So for regional differences, in Tier 1 cities, such as Shanghai and Beijing, students use global platforms like YouTube and Instagram to cross-check your brand. Keep your global and Chinese content consistent. Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities are the fastest growing market for international education. They rely on Douyin and Renault. They are more anxious about study abroad. So you should create some content that build comfort, show them studying abroad is manageable. To turn these insights into actionable steps, here is where we found works best for content. Work with current and former students, focus on videos, connects with parents on WeChat, be mindful of regions. So the goal is to show how you will support their journey. Okay, so that is what I want to share with you today. Next, I will hand it over to my colleague Jian Xiong, and he will talk about recruitment and some case studies.
Okay, let me share my screen. So, can you see my screen? All right. Hello everyone. In the first half of this webinar, Chloe just introduced you about the recent changes in the Chinese digital landscape. In the next half, I will introduce how you may integrate this change into your recruitment cycle. So we'll start all the way from upstream the cycle. This chapter answers the question how Chinese families find your information. Well, when we talk about finding information online, we tend to first think of search engines. While it is certainly true and people are still using search engines, we've noticed an increasing number of users are turning into searching within social platforms. Why? Well, the reasons are twofold with both push and pull factors. So the push factor is that users are losing trust in traditional search engines. Like there have been widely reports within China about spams and frauds from search results. And we also did a research about we also did a search of a term World University Rankings. And guess what we found in Baidu? Well, the 3 out of the top 5 results were from agencies' ads instead of any reputable ranking institutions. So imagine if you're a Baidu user and you constantly get a search quality like this, you would definitely lose trust in those search engines. So where are they going into? Well, they have been increasingly searched within social platforms. Those are RedNote, WeChat, Bilibili, etc. The pull factor is that it's also on trust. Since the results from social search are mostly user-generated, they find it more real and more relatable to themselves. For example, in our case, they can hear what real students and real parents are talking about on the social platforms. Well, what does this mean to you? Instead of focusing on traditional SEO strategies that increase your search engine rankings, here are some suggestions that we would like to suggest to have you to make you win trust from both Chinese families on the social platforms and also the platform's recommendation algorithms. First, verify your account. So you have a marker saying that your account is your institution's official account. Second, find keywords that would help the algorithm and the readers know what your content, either video or article, is about. So it'll be pushed to your target audience. Third, boost interactions. Those are likes, comments, and shares within those social platforms. Fourth, announce originality. So that is the function in most of the Chinese social platforms. If you announce your originality, then the platform will protect your copyright. Fifth, choose the platform to first publish your content. So I think this is quite unique to Chinese social platforms. The reason is that you might publish the same content to multiple platforms. But if one of the platform find out that you published the content first on their app, they will reward you with traffic. So strategically thinking about where your target audiences are and find that platform to publish your content first. And last but not the least, keep a high completion rate. So that is a measure of how many readers or those who are watching your video have watched all the way from the beginning to the end. So you can create fun and interesting videos, and also please avoid overly long videos and articles. Even if you have that much to say, at least break them into series. So another trend is the rise in AI search. It's very new, but it already has over 600 million monthly active users, and it is also rapidly increasing. We might have heard a lot of AI apps, but for search behaviors specifically, most AI search don't happen in a separate AI app like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Kimi, but they happen in AI plugins. And where are these plugins? Those plugins are inside social platforms. So it re-emphasizes the importance of your brand appearance in social platforms. Our advice is to actively answer latent questions. Find some questions that are often asked by your international student and parents, even before they are asked on the social platforms. You might also find trending topics on the social platforms that could relate to your institution and contribute some voice. Most importantly, optimize engagement. That is the same thing as what we said, the like, share, and comments. And we would also suggest you to actively join the back and forth discussions about anything that could relate to your institution. So this creates what we call the AI social search model. So as you can see in this graph, traditional search engines are being increasingly supplemented by social search and AI search. And the latter two are not separate from each other, but they create a virtuous synergy that social platforms provide user-generated content for the AI models, and AI plugins filters the best answers for searches that are happening on social platforms. So that's about this chapter. Next, we'll dive into the early cycle. This chapter answers the question, how do you get the leads? Well, this chapter has two parts. The first one is about precision PPC or pay-per-click ads, and the other is how you can work with student KOCs. About precision PPC, I will go very quickly because, well, it's basically answers the question, what platform do you choose for different kind of ads? Well, that is dependent on the vibes of each platforms, and we have already talked about that in the first half. So I'll go over this quickly. First, we have Douyin and RedNote. They are best for building broad awareness by publishing engaging visual stories. Well, Douyin is the platform used by both students and the parents. RedNote is students' most preferred social platform. Both are good for fun videos like student activities or virtual campus tours. Next, we have Bilibili and WeChat. Unlike Douyin and RedNote, which are better for light ads, these are both good for more in-depth content. Bilibili is better for longer horizontal form videos for students. As Chloe talked about, it was dubbed as the online university in China. You might want to consider putting some more academic-focused content like lectures, seminars, or lab tour on your Bilibili account. WeChat is good for more in-depth articles, specifically targeting parents. So you could consider some stats on employment, on campus safety and visa policies, etc. Then we'll talk about the next two platforms. First, we have Zhihu. Zhihu has recently declined significantly, and there's very little student-generated content on it. So it should not be your most important platform. But most overseas content are still there, and they are written by agencies. So you might still want to monitor it and offer an official voice if you don't want agencies to dominate your info, since some parents are still using it. And its archives from the past is also good for sentimental analysis. And you might also want to repurpose some of those previous content for other platforms. And then we have Baidu. Although, as we talked about in the last chapter, traditional search engines have been increasingly supplemented by the social AI search model, Baidu is still the largest search engine used by many in China. So SEO strategies are supplemented, not replaced, and are still useful to capture specific search queries. Next, we'll talk about student and alumni KOCs. They are way more trusted than ads because they are real peers that prospective students can relate to. More importantly, they've been they've already had active followers with strong interests in their niche. So we suggested that you look for student KOCs in your student community. They don't have to be big influencers with thousands of followers, as long as they are frequently active on one of the most popular Chinese social platforms. They are your invaluable assets for recruitment. Instead of targeting KOCs as channels for ads, we would really suggest you to actively work with them and to create the most effective content. Think what the content is about. Think what they're already their content was already about, and how you can integrate your institution's information with their niche. For example, we've discovered before a psychology major posting about psychology concepts on Bilibili. So you might consider collaborate with this student and create some NAP tour, faculty interview, lecture sit-ins with your psychology department. We also find a dancer who were studying abroad, and you can provide such KOCs with rehearsals from your dance clubs or performance clips. So we would really emphasize that by actively brainstorming with the student KOCs, you can create the content that are most effective to their niche followers. Then we enter the late cycle. So this chapter answers the question, how you increase your yield in China. Well, let's look at the background now. So due to the perceived economic and policy uncertainties, Chinese families are getting a lot more diverse in their applications. We found out that over 60% of Chinese applicants apply to 2 or more countries. It means that they will, on average, get more offers, and it means yield is getting more competitive. The common mistake in the late cycle is the communication disconnection. The Chinese landscape is very unique that email communications are way less useful than in other markets. China kind of leapfrogged the PC era and went directly into the mobile internet era. So natives have not yet built a habit for using emails. If you have worked with Chinese market before, you might have collected lots of QQ emails. So those are like string of numbers, something like 57809 at qq.com, for example. I made that number up. But those might seem strange at the first glance, but they are real emails. The only thing is they are rarely checked. So their existence exactly presents the ineffectiveness of email communication in China. So this phenomenon is there because when a user registers for a very popular Chinese app, QQ, it's another instant messaging app made by WeChat company Tencent. QQ would generate a string of numbers as the user identification with most of the Tencent ecosystem. At the same time, it will automatically create an email with the number string and the at qq.com domain. Since the email is assigned to them, the users never choose it, so they would rarely, if ever, check it. But when the Chinese families were asked by an overseas institution to provide an email, this QQ email might be the only one that they have. So they would actually provide it to you. But as we said, since it's rarely checked, it is way less useful for you. Instead, they rely on instant messaging apps, more specifically WeChat in China. So it is used in social communications, academic communications, and also professional communications. Basically, we use it for everything here in China. WeChat has a very unique user habit, so we'd like to mention here the WeChat helper model. WeChat users have the immediate response habit. Instead of emails, which is normal to take a few days to respond, people expect WeChat messages to be answered within minutes. Well, an unanswered message would significantly lower Chinese families' trust in your institution. even if you do need to take time to get them an answer, at least reply with a personalized acknowledgement. Second, WeChat users like to talk to real person. That means your WeChat messages and content that you push to them should be personalized. They don't like to feel like that everyone is getting the same message from your official WeChat account. So with the WeChat Helper, you will be in a better stance in the yield race. You can send personalized content specific to each family's needs. And also you can host events. Like campus tours are too expensive and time consuming for Chinese families, but you can bring your campus to them by hosting either online or offline events that caters to their needs. And WeChat Helper is your tool for event management. You can also manage personalized reminders about deadlines, like deposits, scholarships, visa documents, etc. And WeChat Helper connects Chinese families with specific departments within your institution. So in conclusion, we'd like to emphasize that the yield raise is a mind shift from broadcasting to conversation. At the late cycle, Chinese families are receiving a large amount of information from a large number of institutions. If they feel you are in conversation with them and you care about their specific needs, you'll be at a great advantage in the yield race. Last, we'll be looking beyond the cycle to your student and alumni engagement. Your alumni network is actually your great asset for student recruitment. When a prospective applicant is researching your university, they will try to find alumni around them and ask about their experience. So it is important to keep your alumni network active and provide them with the latest information that would be helpful to recruitment. As we talked about before, emails are rarely used in China. Although your alumni were using emails while they were students in your institution, most of them will lose the habit of using emails when they came back to China and specifically work in fields with not too much international communications. So you might have experienced that once a Chinese student graduate, you will lose contact with them. Well, the good news is that they are on WeChat. And they, depending on the size of your institution, there might already be multiple WeChat groups of your student communities or of your alumni communities, based on their major, their professional field, their graduation years. So you don't need to create a new WeChat groups and ask everyone to join, but you can just join the existing groups and actively engage with them, update campus news, and provide support. In this way, you'll find a virtuous the ambassador journey cycle. When a prospect finally becomes your student and they graduate and they become your alumni, they will become your asset to recruit the next cycle of prospective students. So by providing continuous value, you will create an active Chinese alumni WeChat network that would provide the best value to you. You can create some career, academic, cultural, or community building events to make your alumni stay connected. On the left, there are some photos of the alumni events that we have served to some of the universities in China. So this is all about the main content of the white paper. I really suggest you to dive into the real white paper for more details. And now I will hand my mic to Chloe for the conclusion.
Okay, thank you, Jianxiong. So about today's webinar, we covered a few key points. One, China's digital landscape is unique. You need a localized strategy, not a translated one. Two, focus on the big three platforms: Douyin for reach, Renote for trust, Bilibili for academics. Use WeChat for parents. and students' content is more trustworthy. Three, optimize your social content for AI search. Four, work with students in influencers and using a WeChat helper to engage admitted students in real time. So just remember, success in China means understanding how to connect with potential families. So okay, now let's open the floor to Q&A. Feel free to drop your question in the chat.
Excellent. Well, I see some great questions have come in already. So the first question I see is, how should institutions adjust digital strategies for tier one versus tier two/tier three cities?
So I will jump in for this question. So mostly for student in tier one cities, they have a way to use VPN to search on, YouTube or Google for more information. But for students who are in tier two and tier three cities, they live like almost exclusively in the domestic Chinese digital ecosystem, which means they only search information on WeChat, Douyin, or RightNotes. That will give like schools a limitation on when they are promoting in China, so they cannot really reach out to the tier two and tier three cities. So we do recommend that schools, if you consider to reach out to those audience group, you want to consider to build your Chinese digital platforms, and so that they can, benefit from the contents, and they can get like more information about study abroad.
Thank you, Shan. Next question I see is, how has student and parent content preference shifted post-pandemic? So for some schools, they're doing a restart with China recruitment, and perhaps it'd be helpful to just explain how content has kind of changed over time.
Yeah, I would say before the pandemic, schools are focusing on providing the information about their program, their strong rankings, their strong programs. But I would say after the pandemic, as we mentioned in this webinar, we see some platform shift from a focus mainly on WeChat to a more diverse and a more like dynamic social platforms, including RedNotes, Douyin, and content-wise, like parents, they seek for ROI, safety, and the visa information. So especially include something about the employment. As you know, the employment rates in China is right now not really good. So parents wants to know the outcome if they send their kids to study abroad, whether they can, graduate with a good degree and also a job. And we also suggest that for students, maybe we want to, as Chloe mentioned, we want to develop more like a peer content, because that could be more appealing than, talking about the school's strong program. I think a peer contents, either like a current Chinese student interview or alumni interview will be really powerful to the audience.
Great. Next question is, what are some recommendations slash best practices for engaging alumni? We feel like we run into the issue of us admissions being super engaged during recruitment slash prospective process, but then lose connectivity in the 4 years they're here. And then when they graduate, we lost touch and we can't get them to help with the admission side again. So any thoughts or best practices there?
Yeah, good question, Josh. So I think for alumni, when they are studying at the university, they definitely have a lot of say about their studying experience and testimony and stuff. I would suggest, if you already have a social media account in China, either on RedNote or WeChat, when students were there, we asked them to do some kind of like an interview with us. And then when they graduated, I think it's really important. We should also follow up with those students and maybe develop like an alumni interview kind of stuff. So I know for some schools, their like representative also in charge of managing alumni in China. And so, for example, if you're hosting some kind of event in China, you are inviting the prospective student. It will be beneficial to invite your local alumni to join so that they can share about their experience and also to maybe introduce a little bit more about what they've been doing after graduation. I think could be really helpful. And through that, you can not only, connect those alumni after graduation, we can also like collect the contents that will be useful for your social media platform.
Great. And I think we want to wrap things up shortly. See one more question that's come in is, how will you tell Chinese parents and students the value of U.S. higher education? Why should they invest for their students getting a degree in the U.S. or could be anywhere else overseas?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think personal experience, I studied abroad in when I was like in undergrad period. So I went to a college in Pennsylvania when I told my parents about my like goal when applying for the university. I think mainly I let them know that study abroad will really open up a student's horizon. So it not only teach me the knowledge, but also teach me how the real world operates other than, my small world in China or in Beijing. So I think first one is definitely to get familiar with the world rules and to have like more experience exposed to the international world. And the second will be, English language will be a big improvement. So before I study abroad, I think it will be always like challenging to talk in English. Well, it's really like it's not really hard to write or listen. So I think being in that environment will definitely help Chinese parents to understand that it can instantly improve their kids' English. And the third one, as mentioned, the ROI is the results. So to emphasize the employment rate, to emphasize the outcome, I think it's really important for parents to really learn, oh, sending my kids to study abroad will give them a brighter future in the job market and make them become more like competitive. I think that's the key. Yeah.
Exactly. And just telling and sharing those real authentic stories of alumni and the extraordinary things they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, we really appreciate everyone taking the time to join us today. And if you have any additional questions, you can always go on sieconnection.com for more information. And we always love hopping on a Zoom and discussing China strategy. So feel free to book a convenient time to chat with one of us. And I think that's pretty much it. Anything else, team?
No.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day or evening.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.